Hey guys, I just want to preface this video real quick and tell you that the world record we're taking a look at isn't the world record anymore. While I was making this video, Alberto pulled up and took the record down a few tenths and is likely still improving it as we speak. This is the third time this has happened to me, but it's nobody's fault, just a result of bad timing. I don't really have a good reason for not scrapping the video and going with the actual world record, other than the video was too far along in production to start over and get it done before Monday. I'm definitely open to revisiting this run to cover the strat change, but for right now, we're going to take a look at the now number 2 time in the world. I hope you stick around for it, but if you want to click off, I understand. Sorry this finale isn't as awesome as it could have been. Alberto is just too good at video games. Enjoy the video if you're still here. What's up gamers, Cryptico here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. Welcome to the Season 4 finale. I honestly can't believe we made it this far and that it's almost been a year since I started making these videos. I really can't thank you all enough for the success that this series has had. So without further ado, let's cap off Season 4. For today's episode, we're picking up the last course in the Mushroom Cup that I have yet to cover, Water Park at 150cc. On April 30th, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 43.835 seconds by the Japanese player Yu. Fast forward to a couple years on July 31st, 2020, and you'll see that the record was brought down to 1 minute 40.791 seconds by fellow Japanese player Cha. That's a 3-second improvement between records and a 2.9% faster time. Our former world record holder Yu has only broken 18 world records across 6 unique runs, but has spent 672 days holding at least one world record. Our current world record holder Cha has only broken 15 world records across 5 unique runs, but has spent over 800 days holding at least one world record, a streak that is kept alive by the very record we're taking a look at. At pre-release, the world record was just over 145, and in almost no time at all, it would be well under 144 and then go under 143, mostly thanks to American player Doodle. At this point, everyone was still using inward drifting bikes and only taking mere hundredths of a second off the record on a quest for 141. But around 70 days after Super FX put up a 142.2, the meta would change. The Biddy Buggy became the kart of choice, and French player Extreme would take the record at the start of 2018. After about 5 months, Japanese player Ome Mona came in and grabbed the first 141 ever recorded and continued to lower the mark from there, all the way down to 141.3. Near the end of 2019, a few other players stepped in and tried to see how much further down this record could go, and Soman would be the one to get the next second break before Cha came in and took the record down even further. In total, the world record was broken 76 times by 21 different players. These loadouts definitely represent 2 very different times in this game's history. Yu goes with the combo of Wario driving the Yoshi bike with the roller wheels and the Wario wing glider, while Cha goes with the funny looking combo of Roy driving Mr. Scooty with the Azure roller wheels and the cloud glider. The advantages and disadvantages here are a little more straightforward than usual. Yu leads by 1 point in top speed, Cha leads by 1 point in handling and also holds a 1 point advantage in acceleration and mini turbo. Picking Wario and the Yoshi bike definitely gives you more speed, but even with the rollers, those choices leave you lacking in the stats that matter the most in this game. Mr. Scooty and the Cloud Glider provide significant boost to those very areas and give Cha the better equipped loadout for this run. Now, this course is about as boring as Sherbet Land, but at least there's a really cool loop in the middle. That's about all I have to say about this course, since it's only cool when you watch someone else play it, so let's do that. Yu starts off with a rocket start and immediately veers to the right to grab 2 coins before initiating a right drift into a super mini turbo and then starts charging up another one before the end of this section. Cha instead uses his first mushroom out of the gate and veers left for the coins while charging up a quick mini turbo and chaining that with another mini turbo before the first turn. He too hits a right drift into a super mini turbo, but also picks up another super mini turbo before going off the ramp. As if 2 sections could ever be so different. Even though his line wasn't as direct as Yu's, Cha's extra longer lasting mini turbos help him jump out to nearly a half-second lead going into S2 after only 9 seconds of actual driving. Continuing the drift off of the ramp, Yu gets a super mini turbo when he lands in the water before initiating a very long left drift while staying really close to the inside of this loop. He'll grab that ultra mini turbo and come flying back underwater for the final section. Cha also hits a right drift off of the ramp and grabs the super mini turbo. On his way up to the loop, he hops a bit to grab this spin booster as he charges up the first of 2 ultra mini turbos. Yes, he's actually able to fit in 2 ultra mini turbos before the end of this section, and he gains an unbelievable amount of time in doing so. Cha's lead over Yu now sits at 1.1 seconds going into S3 thanks to those extra mini turbos. Yu uses his first mushroom to cut through whatever type of off-road this is before hitting a right drift for the super mini turbo off of the glider ramp. It's a low glide on the way to the finish line to close out the lap. Cha doesn't use another mushroom here and instead chains together 2 quick mini turbos before charging up an ultra one off of the glider ramp and riding out the boost on a pretty interesting path. He flies around the huge Ferris wheel while riding out the entire boost of that ultra mini turbo before crossing the finish line. We clearly have some differences between these runs, and after 1 lap of more mini turbos and more speed, Cha has jumped out to a pretty insurmountable 1.2 second lead over Yu. Through S1, Yu stays on a pretty strict line and just hits those same right drifts from lap 1, resulting in a super mini turbo and another super mini turbo he'll release when he touches the water in S2. Cha follows that same strict line instead of chaining together 2 mini turbos before the first turn, in which he enters at a slightly better angle and still gets the first of 3 chained super mini turbos. 1 off the first turn and 1 just before the ramp to close out this section where his lead actually dropped a little bit, but basically remains at 1.2 seconds at the end of S1. About the only thing that Yu does differently in this section is that while on the loop, he doesn't go wide for a second to collect any coins. He just stays as close as he can to the wall and only grabs 1 ultra mini turbo coming out of the loop into the final section. After chaining together another super mini turbo off of the ramp, Cha skips out on the spin booster and goes right for the left drift into an ultra mini turbo before doing the same thing again on the back half of the loop. It's pretty tough to not hit the wall here while carrying all that speed, and you also don't want to drift for too long, which means timing the drifts from the minute you land in the water is crucial. After another pair of longer lasting mini turbos, Cha has extended his lead to just over 1.5 seconds at the end of S2. To close out the lap, Yu uses his second mushroom to cut through this off-road and hits the same right drift for the super mini turbo off of the glider and just glides on down to the finish line on a pretty solid line throughout the air. Cha starts off S3 the same way he did before with those 2 quick mini turbos, but on the right drift around the last turn, he uses his mushroom to ensure that he grabs the ultra mini turbo off of the glider ramp. He does it this way so that his ultra mini turbo charges a little faster so that he doesn't angle his cart to be perpendicular to the course before the glider. Using his mushroom basically saved him from having to do motion glider and still gave him an ultra mini turbo to close out the lap, where he now leads by over 2.1 seconds after outsplitting Yu by just under a second. Now, lap 3 is every bit as boring and the same as lap 2, so we're just going to sum it up lightning round style. Both racers hit their super mini turbo around the first turn, with Cha grabbing an additional one in S1 before both racers grab a super mini turbo off of the ramp into the water. Upon entering the loop, Yu goes for 1 ultra mini turbo while Cha is able to once again fit 2 of these boosts in before the final section. Yu uses his last mushroom to cut through the off-road into a super mini turbo off of the glider, while Cha chains those quick mini turbos before charging up his last ultra mini turbo with the help of his final mushroom before both racers glide on over to the finish line to close out the race. Cha pulled out all the stops throughout this entire race and ended up posting a time that was 3 seconds faster than Yu's former world record. So by fitting in more mini turbos and carrying more speed throughout the course, Cha was able to not only break the world record, but keep bringing it down well below that 141 mark that everyone was itching to get not too long ago. There's a lot to unpack here with this run, and I wish I got to speak to Cha about it, but I couldn't make that happen this time around. So we're just going to jump ahead to the best known splits. The best known splits for this run show that there's still a lot of time that can be knocked off. It's probably no surprise that Cha owns all 3 of the best known laps for this course, since he's the one that kept bringing that record down. But during the journey, we've seen that there's even more time that can be saved. Around 15 frames altogether, with lap 3 having the most room for improvement, and laps 1 and 2 about the same amount of time for each. It's likely that we won't see a full run that's closer to that best known sum time from anyone other than Cha, but we can't rule out that someone new is lurking in the shadows trying to beat it right now. The worldwide top 10 consists of 5 national and 3 continental record holders. Cha sits at the top about 150 milliseconds ahead of European record holder Stair, and just 100th of a second behind him is Japanese player Somen. 4th and 5th place are separated by about a singular fingernail and consist of Alberto and Scary. The bottom half of this leaderboard is divided by only 1/10 of a second and includes American record holder Nick, French record holder Army, and 3 more of Japan's best in Kaimin, Hasu, and Hongatsuo. Cha has a pretty sizable lead over the rest of the world, and he has held this record for quite a while now, so it might be safe, but then again, no record is ever safe when you have Alberto, Army, or Somin on the boards behind you. Maybe one day this record will fall and we'll see a time closer to that best known sometime. Who knows? That's all for episode 40 and the final episode of season 4. I'm so thankful to everyone that liked, commented, and shared these videos over the past year. It really does mean the world to me. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I can assure you that I'll do everything in my power to make season 5 the best one yet. As always, if you enjoyed this video and this series, like and share it with your friends and comment on which course you'd like me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.